All right, let's talk about something huge, intelligence. I mean, what does it really mean to be smart? Is it just one thing you're born with, or is it way, way more complicated than that? Well, today, we're going to unpack the incredible story of how we've tried to figure out our own minds. You've heard this a million times, right? Maybe you even think of yourself as one or the other. It's such a common phrase, but it points to something really deep. This gut feeling we all have that there isn't just one way to be intelligent. It feels like there are different kinds of smarts. Turns out, psychologists have been wrestling with this exact idea for more than 100 years. So before we jump into all the debates, let's get a baseline. How do the experts actually define this thing that we all kind of feel we understand? Let's take a look. Okay, that sounds a little academic, so let's translate it. Thinking rationally, that's just problem solving. Acting purposefully, that's using what you know to get things done. And dealing effectively with the environment, well, that's all about adapting to whatever life throws at you. So you see, it's not just about acing a test. It's about how you navigate the world. And this is where the story gets really juicy. For the longest time, the biggest fight in this field was over a simple question. Is intelligence one single power, like a light bulb that's either dim or bright? Or is it more like a whole toolbox of different, separate skills? So the whole thing kicks off with this one guy, a psychologist named Charles Spearman. He noticed something interesting. People who were good at one kind of mental test, say vocabulary, also tended to be pretty good at totally different ones, like math puzzles. And that led him to his big idea, that underneath it all, there's a single general intelligence factor. He called it G. And boom, this right here was the main event for decades. In one corner, you've got Spearman saying there's one core G that pretty much runs the whole show. But in the other corner, another researcher, Thurstone, stepped up and said, hold on a second. It is not that simple. He was convinced that intelligence was really a combination of several distinct abilities. So let's dig into Thurstone's idea, because it was a huge step forward. For him, intelligence wasn't a single mountain peak. No, it was more like a whole mountain range with lots of different peaks, each one representing a different ability. Now, what's so cool about this list is how much sense it makes. Just look at it. You can probably spot your own strengths and weaknesses right now, can't you? Maybe you're amazing with words, but terrible with directions. That's spatial relations. Thurstone's whole point was that your intelligence isn't a single score. It's your own unique profile across these different areas. So for a long time, the field was kind of stuck. Was it Team Spearman or Team Thurstone? One thing or many things? But, like most big arguments, the truth wasn't really on one side or the other. The next big move was figuring out how to bring these two great ideas together. And asking that question, well, that led to a major breakthrough. It's called the hierarchical model of intelligence. The idea is so simple and so smart. Maybe intelligence has a structure. Maybe it's not an either-or situation at all. Just picture a pyramid. Right at the very top, the pointy bit, you've got Spearman's G factor, that general smarts that influences everything else. But then, as you go down, it branches out into bigger categories, like Thurstone's verbal skills or number skills. And at the bottom, the wide base of the pyramid, that's where you find all the super specific individual talents. It was a beautiful model that seemed to settle the debate. But some folks thought the picture was still missing a few pieces. Just when you think the story's over, right? A psychologist named J.P. Guilford came along and basically said, you think that's complex? Hold my beer. He thought even the pyramid model was way too simple. Guilford came up with his wild, three-dimensional model. He said that any single mental task is a mix of three things. First, there's the operation. That's what your brain is doing, like remembering something or judging it. Then there's the content. What kind of stuff are you thinking about? Pictures, sounds, symbols. And finally, the product. What's the final answer look like? He believed that every single unique mix of these three things was its own separate intelligence. And here is the punchline. When you multiply all the possibilities in Guilford's model, all the different operations, contents, and products, you don't get 7 abilities. You don't even get 20. You get up to 180. 180 distinct kinds of intelligence. I mean, think about how far we've come from just one single G factor. Okay, let's take a breath. We've gone from 1 to 7 to a pyramid, all the way to a model with 180 different abilities. It's a lot, I know. So what's the point? Why does this whole journey through psychological history matter to you right now? This quote really just says it all, doesn't it? The whole story of intelligence research is a story of moving away from a single number. It's about realizing that being smart is so much bigger and richer than what any one test could ever hope to measure. So here's the real takeaway. Your intelligence is your own personal cocktail of abilities. Whether you're a brilliant artist, a genius coder, an amazing parent, or just somebody who really knows how to listen, you're demonstrating intelligence. Your mind is not a single number. It's this complex, amazing, and totally unique profile of strengths that belongs to you and you alone. So I'll just leave you with this final thought. Forget book smart or street smart. After seeing this journey from one factor to potentially 180, I want you to think about your own unique combination of skills. What are the highest peaks in your personal mountain range of abilities? Thanks for joining us.